What's going on, everyone? This is DC Howard, Coach DC, and I am super excited to literally do in 5 minutes to be able to talk about our PeerForward Scoreboard for the 2023-2024 school year in this session. And as you all know, as you'll hear from all of our PeerForward coaches, simply put, if it's not in the scoreboard, what? That's right. It did not happen. And so I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the great features of our scoreboard, how to actually go and utilize our scoreboard, as well as also how to make sure that you are inputting the information in a timely fashion. So let's go ahead and get into our scoreboard here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Let's see here. Perfect. So you all are able to see my screen. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. Let's actually make it a little bit smaller. Let's do 125 so you'll be able to see everything. Perfect. All right, so with everyone, you'll have your PeerForward Scoreboard. It is a Google-based platform. And what you'll have is you'll have various tabs at the very bottom. But the tab I always like to start with is our scoreboard navigation and helpful links. And so literally in this particular portion of the scoreboard, you're able to see everything that you'll be able to need to connect with, as well as also everything that you'll need to input. We have our dashboard, which is going to be our main area that we're going to see in just a second, our team page, our goal setting and enrollment, applications, campaign activities, as well as also our PeerForward toolkit that allows you to be able to see all of our curriculum that's available, such as our PeerForward playbook that you've heard about this far in our workshop, as well as also Link Forward, which is a lot of great resources, as well as also our campaign activity tracker form. So literally, as you complete a campaign activity, you can just go to this particular link and be able to input it right then and there. Also, for our peer leaders that are seniors, we want to make sure that we're able to know all about what is your progress overall in the school year. And so you'll update this at every data day, as well as also for our juniors when they come on board, be able to do their peer leader registration for the year. So let's get into our dashboard, all right? So let's click on that. On our dashboard is all of our major items, which you would say these are, if you will, the major scores around our campaign FAFSA first, around our campaign apply, and then around our campaign connect, more specifically being able to do our, if you will, 6-pack of core activities, which you will have heard about already, or you'll hear more about from your PeerForward coach in the school year. And so you'll see it gives how many individuals have completed the FAFSA, as well as also completed 3+ apps. It tells you how many individuals rather you need to the goal, which is there and here. And you see a nice graph that's there. If you go further down, I call these our box scores, where we're able to focus on the various actual individualized components that are there in this particular area. Now let's go to our team page. So on our team page, you'll have your coach, you'll have your advisors, as well as also you'll have your roles. And as we talked about earlier in the actual sessions of the workshop, is that you have our various roles that are listed here. We kindly ask that you just utilize these roles in this particular assign role section. So therefore you would type, for instance, co-captain. You see it actually came up there, and that you type it there, that you're able to then put your grade level for whether it be 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th. Of course, for our Bermudians, S3 being 11th grade, S4 being 12th grade. And then you would enter your first name, last name, email address, and phone number as stated. As you'll see here, you want to make sure that you are putting your actual Instagram and your Twitter and or your Gmail handles, and make sure that you include the password. Yes, do include the password here, as the next year's class or the next role individual will actually need this information. Here are the key components that you want to know about with regards to our data dates. So make sure you take note of this. October 15th, December 1st, February 1st, and May 15th are the times where you absolutely have to have this updated. So ideally, you want to have this information to our data managers updated before this particular time frame. And so it lists what are all the things that we're looking for in those particular times. As you'll see, for most of our respective dates, we actually have the FAFSA information already taken care of. As all of you know, FAFSA actually opens December 1st this year. And so we'll make sure we have that information. But if you'll make sure that you're able to do all of the following updates during that time. The last thing I'll focus on in the final section of time that I have is two things, is campaign activities. You'll note that literally you can't enter anything here. See, couldn't enter anything because the fact of the matter is you have to go to add a completed activity, which is that campaign activity tracker form that we saw the link to. This is another place where you can have the link for it as well as also you can be able to ensure that individuals are completing the activity each and every single time you complete a particular event. So whether that is a FAFSA lock-in, whether that is a college rep visit, whether that is a vision board campaign or vision board event, make sure that your data manager, activity lead, or secretary is coming back in and adding a completed activity. Also know that our activities, which I'll show really quickly here, as I'm a little bit over 5 minutes, is the fact matter that it can be group or it can be one-on-one activities. And so every time that you're actually engaging with the fellow peer to help them with their college application or with their FAFSA, make sure that you count, or their respective financial aid application, make sure you're counting that as well. The last thing I'll reference, and this is arguably the most important tab overall, is the applications tab. Depending upon your school, if you use Naviance or another equivalent item at your respective school with your guidance counselor or professional school counselor, you can go in and be able to input all of the students' first and last names of your senior class, as well as if you use the caseload approach, you can be able to type the assigned peer leader to those respective individuals. If you so choose to rather just get the raw numbers from your actual counseling team, therefore you want to make sure you go up here and then you actually input the information in the gold area. And so, for instance, let's say that we have, as a little bit of thunder in the background, is 100 individuals here at Carver submitted one or more college applications, which you've heard the definition of college throughout this weekend. This information will be populated there. And when you go back to the dashboard, boom, you see that that information is already updated. And so make sure that if you're using the actual raw numbers that you go and you input in the gold, and then if you're using the caseload approach and or the data information and you're coming down here to input a name. So let's say, for instance, if I do my name, Howard, BC, my post high school goal, let's say, is going to be attend college. Have I done my FAFSA? No. Have I done an alternative financial aid app? Let's say I did a scholarship. Yes. And let's say that I applied to one institution. You'll see that it says I've applied to one or more, but let's say I've applied to 4. You'll see that now it will say yes and yes, but you'll see that it automatically populates this in the gray. Make sure you put that in the gold. Make sure whatever's in the gray, if you utilize this section, that you put it in the gold. All right. So I went a little bit over in my time, but I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of all of the aspects of our PeerForward scoreboard, and make sure you get with your PeerForward coach, either during this summer workshop session or during your campaign huddles during the year, to be able to get more info on how to make sure you're using the PeerForward scoreboard in the right fashion. We'll talk with you soon.